Hi, guys. Today we are going to talk about how to break free from comparison and to avoid pressures. Yeah. In our world of today, a lot is happening and things are going so fast. People are changing so fast. They are acquiring wealth and everything. And if you look around, if you are not careful, you will just start feeling like you have nothing. And that feeling comes from comparison. Because when you look at somebody, if they have bought a new car and you don't have a car, then you start feeling like, now this person has a car, I must have a car. And I must do everything I have to do to get a car. So if you put yourself into this, then every time something happens or someone gets something new or gets a house or buy a car, or just buy a kind of nice looking clothing, you may want to feel like you need to upgrade. You need to dress the same way. You need to have the same things that people are having. Phones, for example, people are buying iPhone 16 now. We are still using the what do you call it? Androids, Samsung phones, and we don't mind. So those comparisons sometimes make you feel like you always have to have something new. And this feeling makes you keep walking, keep thinking about what you are lacking. It makes you to even forget what you have achieved or where you have gotten. And so if you cannot appreciate where you are standing, then you will always feel empty. And that is where pressure comes in, depression comes in, anxiety comes in. When we were growing up, we never used to look at what other children are wearing, like clothes. We could just wear our kind of clothes that we have every Sunday, wash it, dry it, and wear it the next Sunday. And life was good. We were happy. And so around the church, when we had finished church, we would see some children crying for their parents to buy them snacks. And our mother would say, oh, there is no money. Let's go home and cook our food and eat. We would say, okay. And so that's how we grow up. We were brought up in that way that you don't have to look at somebody's thing and feel like, I must have this. I have to have this. So with that spirit, even now in my adult age, I make sure that I get what I can afford. I don't look at what people are getting. Because when you start doing that, you would feel the pressures. You would just always feel like you are nothing. And this feeling, it reduces your self-esteem, your confidence, because you are always trying to get to somewhere. Life does not have to be that difficult. Life has to be simple. Do what you can. Anything you can afford, go for it. Do not set goals that are above what you can achieve. Because sometimes these pressures come from building those ideas in your mind and hoping to get like millions, or hoping to get something that you know it's really, really above your income level, and then you will start getting frustrated about not getting there. When you just do what you can, it doesn't mean that you are not having dreams for big things. You are not. It doesn't mean that you are shutting your dreams down. It means that you are taking time to understand yourself, taking time to understand what you need to do to get there, and not pushing yourself to the place where you cannot cope. Yeah. So saying this is just like, for some of our younger ones back home, when somebody goes abroad, it feels like, okay, if they were my best friend, I need to do everything I can to go abroad. Then you start applying for visas and you're getting rejected, and it feels like the whole world is coming to an end. Sometimes those things come when you least expect them. But then if you push so much and you feel like if you don't get this, this is the end of the world, then you will get to the extent where you may feel like life itself is not worth living. And that is where you hear that people are committing suicide just because they are looking at themselves and everything they can see is negative things about them. They don't think they are worth living just because they cannot afford the things that other people are able to afford. Yeah, so life is not a race. People get to some stages at different times, and sometimes your pace may be slow, but it doesn't mean that you are not working. Sometimes you work even very hard and it looks like nothing is working, but keep trying and keep hoping. Do not give up and do not feel like you are a failure, because those are the kind of thoughts that push people to the limit, and then they get depressed and everything they see is a gloomy picture of life. Life has a lot to offer. If you can't afford the bigger things that you feel people are being able to afford, you can start with little things. You can start by appreciating the little things that you have, looking at where you are now. If you are back in Cameroon, maybe you used to even lack the money to buy food. Maybe now you can just afford a plate or a pot of soup or something. That is a step forward. If you have traveled abroad and people have now gone to school and they have good jobs and you are just starting, it doesn't mean that this is the end of the road for you, or you must not just be where others are. Just set your own goals, start working from there, and every time you get to a point that you feel like you have achieved something, celebrate it. Don't always just look ahead and feel like, oh, even though I'm here, I haven't gotten to this place. Celebrate it and then keep moving forward. And before you know it, you will be where you really want to be. And by the time you get to where you are going, people may even be higher than where you are going. It doesn't matter. Because if you start looking at where people are at, it will never stop. The world, people keep evolving. By the time you are in your room thinking about getting back to school and getting maybe a diploma, other people are going to school to get a bachelor's degree. By the time you are getting a bachelor's degree, there will be some people who are getting a master's degree, and there are some people who are still trying to get the diploma, and there are some people who are still trying to get to where you are. And so before you finish the master's, some people are already finishing their PhDs. So if we understand this, then we will know that it's not like something that you are rushing to catch, because you will never catch it. You can only catch what you decide to chase. If you decide that my goal is to go to school and achieve my diploma, go to school and have your diploma. Do not always focus on who is now achieving a bachelor's degree while I am still doing the diploma, because those are the things that will bring you down. They will make you feel like you are failing every time you try and try and try. Those feelings will make you feel like you are at the lowest level of everybody. So I'm just here today to share this and to encourage us to not always compare ourselves to others, because if you start comparing, there will be no stop. You will never stop comparing, because people keep growing, and what you should be doing is to be comparing yourself of yesterday and yourself of today, and then looking at where you are going. All right, people, I will stop here for today, and I hope that we have learned one or two things today. If you like what you hear, please comment below. And if you want to share your experience about anything, please feel free to share, because that's how we learn from others. We learn from one another every day. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye.